So how has ANZ been responding to the recent attacks that have occurred?
Okay, so I might give you a little bit of history of what's actually happened. Australia and one of the government agencies, the Australian Signals Directorate, has had a very key interest on cybersecurity and just generally IT security for a very long time, for about 20, 30 odd years. In fact, I've only ever known it in my full adult working life. And what they did was that they built an information security manual, which for government orientated people, they live and breathe that. That's something I do day to day. One of the things that they sort of discovered, and around 2011, was they started to say, hang on, the work that we're doing for government is just equally as applicable to everybody else. And so in 2011, they tried to net down to 4 key messages for what organisations could do. If you're going to do anything to help your cybersecurity, these are the 4 things you could do.
So it's basically like guidelines?
Yeah, guidelines and actionable things, like things that were concrete. You know, for example, restrict your administrators to the smallest number of people in the organisation, or in Microsoft environments, whitelist your applications, which essentially means only allow applications that you know are good to run on your PC. So that started a groundswell. Then through government programs, they ran a yearly cyber security conference. And then as the attacks started to become more significant, that's where we sort of see the political intervention happen. So around 2014, the then federal government basically said, this is actually going to be a serious problem for us, a really serious problem. So they actually set up the Australian Cybersecurity Centre, and their goal is to effectively be the advocate and advisor towards handling cybersecurity incidents. And since that time, they've managed to then take that message, which was sort of security orientated, security practitioner orientated, and then take it out to a broader public. So when things like WannaCry actually happened, they had media resources in hand, they had contacts where they could push messages out very quickly and actually deal with an event in a fairly systematic way. So whilst from a government point of view, I think they've done a really good job, and that continues to evolve. Organisations are along a full spectrum. There are some people who really understand that their data in their organisation is absolutely key to the success of the organisation. So they spend a lot of time and effort to secure it. And then there's other organisations, and particularly going down to small businesses, where they mightn't appreciate their data is actually very important, and without that appreciation, then they just don't take the actions that they need to secure it in any sensible way. So I think from ANZ's perspective, I think our government's in a fairly good position, and they've taken a lead, and the top 4 things that the Australian Security Directorate actually put out have spread around the world. It's regarded as top-notch advice. But how as we organisations going along that track, well, we've got a little bit more work to do. Some organisations are fantastic, but there's a whole gambit down to people that really are really just not particularly security aware.